I love Star Wars. And that's a scary thing to say within the Star Wars fandom. For every one person who likes a piece of Star Wars media, there are 10 people who have been sent to tell that person that they are wrong. And as a Star Wars fan, I don't love every aspect of it, especially Disney Star Wars. I like Rogue One and Mandalorian as much as the next guy, but I was severely let down by the sequels and The Acolyte. On the other hand, I didn't hate the Book of Boba Fett, and I actually thought Obi-Wan was really good. So once again, I reiterate, I love Star Wars. With Skeleton Crew coming out soon, and having seen Phantom Menace in theaters earlier this year for its 25th anniversary, I've decided to go over each of the films in the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy respectively. Just a heads up, these won't be like my next couple of videos. I'll have one of these come out every now and then. I just wanted to do the first one now. Also to preface, I actually quite like all of the prequels and originals pretty equally, to be completely honest. They all have their flaws, none of them are perfect movies, and being from the generation that grew up with the prequels and the Clone Wars, I definitely have some bias towards those, and I don't necessarily hold the original trilogy on a pedestal like many who grew up with those do. However, I do think all 6 of these movies have something to offer, so I'm just gonna list all the things that I like about them, a couple things I dislike about them, and we'll have some fun with it. So of course, we'll start today off with The Phantom Menace, released in 1999. When The Phantom Menace came out, people were very excited. There hadn't been Star Wars in like...
When did Star Wars Episode 6 come out? Episode 1. Calculator. Minus 3. 99. Yes, 3. Oh.
16 years, so it was a huge deal. And needless to say, people were extremely disappointed by this product. It was boring. Jar Jar was annoying. Anakin was some stupid kid from Tatooine. How could he ever become Darth Vader? There was a lot of criticism, and honestly, I understand it. I think even now, there are a lot of things about this movie that aren't great, but allow me to tell you some of the things that I really enjoy about this movie. First and foremost, it is nostalgic to me. Now wait. Don't click away. You've stayed here long enough to know that I am a prequel apologist. So please, hear me out a little further. I know that oftentimes nostalgia for something doesn't make it good, and people who have opinions based on nostalgia are a little silly. But growing up in the 2000s, we had Lego Star Wars sets. We had Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. And we had Star Wars Battlefront. And I think those things really just helped me look back fondly on this movie and the other prequels. Now, I will admit, when I saw this movie in theaters recently, I was there for 2 things alone: pod racing and the Duel of the Fates. Those are 2 sequences that seeing on a big screen was just amazing. It was phenomenal. But this movie is boring. I love the vibes of this movie, especially of the scenes on Naboo. Like, I love the Naboo level in Lego Star Wars, and it just looks pretty, but dang, that's not gonna save this movie from being boring. It is a boring movie. Star Wars has always been a political drama, so who would have guessed their comeback with Episode 1 would be a political drama? But just the way it is written is boring. The dialogue is stupid and flat. And honestly, it took me until this most recent rewatch in theaters to fully understand what they were even talking about with the politics. Like, I didn't even realize that Palpatine isn't even the Chancellor in this one. But anyways, I'm a little off track. I'm supposed to be saying good things about this movie. So some things I like is pod racing, the Jedi Council, and the Duel of the Fates. I'm going to start with talking about pod racing though. That scene is so cool. Like, oh my goodness, it is so amazing to watch. It holds up so well to this day. The 1999 effects are surprisingly amazing. I also really like how it feels like we're watching a real race. Like, I've seen the movie enough times to know what the outcome is, but every time I watch the pod race, I am on the edge of my seat, just hoping that Anakin can pull ahead, or maybe Ben Quadraneros. It's really cool. Did I mention that this scene rocks? It's also over 15 minutes long, and it does not overstay its welcome. Plus, like I said before, we get Ben Quadraneros in this movie, in this scene, and boy, oh boy, isn't he lovable. I don't think I'm alone when I say we need a Fast and the Furious style Star Wars movie about pod racing with our boy Ben Quadraneros. That would be so rad. We need that movie. Disney, I hope you are listening. Then, of course, we got the Jedi Council. I imagine that after the original trilogy was over, many people wondered what the Jedi were like back before they went extinct. And finally, in this movie, we get to see a bit of that. And I personally really like the Jedi, how they're portrayed in this movie. I like this era of Star Wars a lot, and I think the Jedi are really interesting. I also really hate them. They suck. They are so dumb and stupid and make dumb decisions. But they do also have really cool robes and lightsabers and big heads, and I just love them. Plus, Yaddle is here. Yaddle, voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard in Tales of the Jedi, is actually in Phantom Menace. Also, Yarael Poof. The only way this movie could get better is if Jinky Minus showed up. Anyways, I really like the way that the Jedi Council is portrayed. It lays the foundation of how we see them operate moving forward in the next two movies and in the Clone Wars. And it's really interesting to see how they are run prior to being in an active war, which is the majority of how we see them run. I would love to see more of this era and prior to it in Star Wars that isn't the Acolyte. I also know there's a huge criticism in this movie that the Jedi are just wearing moisture farmer outfits, but like, grow up, dude. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So, the last thing I really like about this movie is the Duel of the Fates. It has that epic song. It's got that epic song. In addition, it has that really epic song. Also, double-bladed lightsaber. What the heck? That is so rad. And this guy looks like a literal demon. That is so cool. Man, Ponytail and Rat Tail guy really have their work cut out for them. Like, surely they will not kill cool demon guy with double-bladed lightsaber. Oh no, they did get him. Surely he will stay dead after being cut in half and falling an unfathomable height and will not somehow end up on a trash planet and construct spider legs. Also, surely Ponytail guy will not die from a mere lightsaber wound to the abdomen. That is never lethal. We've seen it many times before. Everyone pulls through. Oh wait, no, he's actually dead. But seriously, this is just such a cool fight scene, and the implications of Qui-Gon dying and Obi-Wan becoming this reluctant teacher for Anakin is just really cool. And of course, we'll get more into that when we talk about the next two movies, but this fight is just awesome. It's a fun time to watch. I think it's been talked to death. People know it's cool. People know the stuff behind it. Dave Filoni has talked about it a lot, but it's just cool. It's still somehow in the top 2 coolest lightsaber battles 25 years later, and I think that kind of speaks for itself. So those were some of the things that I really like about this movie. So what are some of the things that I don't like about this movie? Well, my biggest question is, why did we not get the origin story for Max Rebo in this? Why did we not get the origin story for Nine Nub? Why is Yarael Poof reduced to just being in the background as a brief cameo? And how in the world did Ben Quadraneros not win the pod race? All of these questions I demand answers for, and I think Disney needs to create Disney Plus series for each of these characters respectively that takes place during the events of the Phantom Menace. Okay, but things I kinda like. Jar Jar's fine. Why are people so mean to him? Oh my gosh. Padme and Anakin romance is fine. Definitely better than what we get in the next movie. Qui-Gon is fine. I feel like it would be cool to see more of him. He's an interesting character, but I think in this movie he's kind of forgettable in the long run. Coruscant is cool. Cool to see Tatooine before it was the focus of every piece of Star Wars media. The N1 starfighters are really cool. Trade Federation stereotypes are kind of bad, I think. Maybe not the best thing ever. Droidekas are cool. Battle droids are cool. I also like the Gungans. I love me some Boss Nass. Okay, things I hate. I hate Shmi. She's a stupid character. She doesn't really have a good motherly son connection with Anakin, and she's dumb. She is simply a plot device that is further proven in the next movie to be a plot device. And I do not really like Obi-Wan in this movie either, mostly because he's honestly kind of underused. I also really hate Puppet Yoda. I am very happy there is a version of this movie where they made him CGI, because the puppet they used in this looks nothing like the original Yoda. It is a little freak and I hate it, and CGI Yoda actually looks pretty cool. Alright, Glub Shido lightning round. We got Watto, we got Boss Nass, we got Sebulba, we got gosh darn Yaddle, we got Aura Singh, Captain Panaka, Finis Valorum, Newt Gunray, Bib Fortuna apparently, Tewada Wanga, am I right? Coyote Mundi, but he's also in Clone Wars, so is he really a Glup? I'll leave that up to you. Adi Gallia, Captain Tarples, Sashay, Depa Balaba, who is Kanan Jarrus's master, Padre Spectator, Saisteen, Rune Hako, Governor Seo Bibble, Eth Koth, Rick Oli, Yaraya Poof, even PL, Lot Dodd, Odie Mandrill, Dalty Dauphine, Kitster, Tehau, Palace Guard, Irte, Citaria, Angela, Axe Mo, Republic Cruiser Captain, Tangela, and Graxol Kelvin. And I'm gonna end it there because I don't know how accurate this Google search is. Why is Graxol Kelvin just this random guy?
Editor Schraden here. I found the real Graxel Kelvin. Here he is.
So, with that being said, The Phantom Menace, in my opinion, is a good Star Wars movie, I think. It's got characters galore, as we can see. A really, really cool racing scene. One of the greatest races ever put to film. A really awesome scene with pod racing. A super fantastically filmed racing scene. A cool pod. One of the best lightsaber fights ever done. And we get the origin of Darth Vader, kind of. Part 1. He's not even remotely evil in this. So, not really much of an origin for Darth Vader, but I'm going to give The Phantom Menace 5 Yaraels out of 1 Quadraneros. In all actuality, though, I do really like this movie. It might be a little boring with some of the politics here and there, but I think it does act as a really good part 1 to Anakin and Obi-Wan's story, even though they aren't really center stage. It's a movie that I like, and if you hate it, tell me why. If you love it, tell me why. If you're indifferent, also, please tell me why. I want to hear your thoughts on this movie. Subscribe, please. I would really appreciate it, especially if you want to see the rest of my Star Wars opinions as I continue to go through these movies, and a lot of other cool videos and stuff that I'm working on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget also to like and share this video as well with your friends, if they hate Star Wars especially, or if they like it, or like cool racing and other things like that. I'll catch you next time. See ya.